All right. It's 8 p.m. Central and time for the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, heard Wednesday nights right here on this repeater. My name is Matthew, call sign KN4LRA, and I'll be your net control this evening. This is a controlled net, meaning that stations should refrain from transmitting until designated check-in or comment time. You can hear us on the University Link repeater system, the N5OAK repeater system, and the W5AC repeater in College Station. There are other ways of checking into the repeater system, and you can find more details at the websites ka5d.com/repeaters and n5oak.org/repeaters. Please give a couple of seconds between transmissions to allow all system links to communicate with each other. Before we begin, is there any emergency or priority traffic on this frequency? If so, please call now. Nothing heard. We won't have any scheduled breaks to check for emergency traffic during the net this evening, but we will gladly yield the air if any station calls in with emergency or priority traffic. The UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net is a social net with the purpose of bringing local radio operators together to share knowledge, discuss club activities, and keep in touch. All hands are invited, both new and experienced, and no club membership is required. If you're new to the net, the way this works is very simple. In just a bit, we'll invite everyone listening to check into the net. We will start with short time check-ins for stations who just have a few minutes with us, then move on to general check-ins and comment time. Before we get started, we have some quick announcements from the club. Our next meeting will be this Thursday evening at 6 p.m. in the ETC building on campus. If you're interested in joining us, check the Discord or our email list for the exact location coming out later tomorrow afternoon. This weekend, exciting new news. The club, thanks to David, KG5UBB, now has access to a Fox, and we will be hosting our first Fox this weekend. So if you are interested in participating in our Fox hunt, go ahead and check the N5OAK Discord Fox Hunt channel for the map coming out on a Saturday morning. For more information about the club, or if you'd like to get involved, please visit n5xu.org, where you can read more about the club and sign up for our email list. You're listening to the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, hosted by the University of Texas Amateur Radio Club, every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. right here on the University Link repeater system and the N5OAK repeater system. My name is Matthew, call sign KN4LRA, and I am your net control for the evening. Let's move on to net check-ins. During check-in, please key your mic, say "this is," unkey, and wait a moment to hear if anyone else has started talking. If it's clear, key in again, and slowly and clearly state your call sign and first name. We encourage you to use standard ITU phonetics if you know them. This gives everyone the opportunity to learn the phonetics, and it makes it easier for me to write down the check-ins. We'll start off with short time check-ins. If you're out there and know that you've just got a few minutes but still want to say that you've checked into the net, this is your opportunity. To keep things brief, we will not take general comments from the short time stations. Short time stations, please call now.
This is Kilo India 5 Zulu India Echo. No real traffic. John in North Austin.
John, welcome back to the net. We've got KI5 Zulu India Echo. No traffic. Thank you so much for checking in this evening. Any other short time stations, please call now.
Kilo Golf 5 Delta Romeo Tango.
All right, we've got Kilo Golf 5 Delta Romeo Tango. Thank you so much for checking in and welcome to the net. Any other short time check-ins, please call now. All right, nothing heard. Let's go ahead and move right along to general check-in. After we've got a few people checked in, we'll give the floor to each of you and then to any stations who wish to respond. If we don't get to you during the first round of check-ins, stick around. There will be plenty of opportunities to check in throughout the evening. Again, no club membership is required. All licensed operators are welcome and encouraged to participate. General check-in stations, please call now.
This is David, Kilo Golf 5, Uniform Bravo Bravo from the UT Shack. Also acting as backup net control.
This is KB5MPJ, Kilo Bravo 5, Mike Papa Juliet, Jason and Vito.
This is Kilo India 5, Papa Zulu November, Ernesto from East Austin coming in through the 220 repeater.
This is WZ5BBS, Rusty, Northwest Austin coming in through the 147320 repeater.
All right, so far we've got David, KG5UBB. Glad to hear that you got out of your class and were able to jump on and help me as backup net control. We've also got Jason, KB5MPJ, Ernesto, KI5PZN, and Rusty, WZ5BBS. Any other general check-ins, please call now.
AI5OS.
Hey, Justin, welcome back to the net, and great to hear you on here. It's been a while, man. That's AI5OS Justin. Thank you for checking in. Any other general check-ins, please call now. Nothing heard. Well, let's go ahead and kick things off with David, KG5UBB. I know you just got out of a class meeting not too long ago, and you're kind of in the same situation I am, being so close to the end of the semester here. Have you gotten any time to do anything fun radio-wise, or is it just on the school grind for you?
Haha, thanks, Matthew. Yeah, no, I've been messing with the HT I got at Belton a little bit. It's putting out really, really low power on 2 meters and 440. It turns out the nickel metal hydride battery that came with it is pretty much dead. So when I transmit, it dips down to around 6 volts. It's supposed to be around 12 volts nominal. So I've been working on cycle charging it, trying to build that back up. Aside from that, working on the Fox. Right now, I've figured out that with a dummy load attached to the Fox, it works great as an indoor Fox, or like, sort of the size of a city block Fox hunt transmitter hunt. Very exciting. Hopefully, we'll be able to demo it at the next meeting. So if you're coming to the UT Amateur Radio Club meeting, please bring a handheld that can do 2 meters and preferably 2 meters and 440. If not, I'll bring 2. Yeah, it should be a fun time. And, back to you, Matthew, KG5UBB.
Man, I completely forgot about Belton this past weekend, so I'd love to hear from you a little bit about what the experience was like at Belton. And I'm curious, I saw the pictures of your HT there on the Discord, but what's the model? I know I really like the ICOM gear, so it was cool to see that you picked up an old ICOM. Tell me a little bit about that radio as well.
Yeah, sure thing. So it's the IC Whiskey 32 Alpha from ICOM. It came out a couple years before I was born, actually, and it's got a full duplex receiver, which is pretty interesting. So it really has two FM receivers, which are each independently tunable for satellite work, which is why I picked it up. Some guy had it, in the bottom of a bin. I haggled him down to $75, just I thought was fair, given it was, OBO. And, tinkered with it, and it seems to pretty much all be working. So that's been exciting. The charging cradle is off-brand, but that's not really quite an issue, except for the fact that the radio doesn't really fit in it. So I used some notebook cards to shim it into the charging cradle so it doesn't pop off the pogo pins break. And as for Belton, it was really fun. We met up with the Whiskey 5 Alpha Charlie folks from A&M, which was great. We tried to do POTA at the Mother Ness State Park, so Texas State Park's on the air, and that was neat, except they have some rules about not touching the grass. So we ended up trying to put up end-fed half-wave. Didn't quite work, because you can't touch the grass or go off the trails or anything. So eventually we met some people in a camping spot, asked if we could use their power. We got the FT891 set up and a J-pole, but 6 meters was dead, and we couldn't tune up the J-pole to any other frequencies, which was understandable. So we settled on busting out the HTs and running across the park, and basically doing simplex 2 meter and 440 to activate the park, because we weren't about to drive all the way to Waco and get nothing for it. So that was really fun. It was really fun meeting Hudson and Krista from the not N5OAK, from the Whiskey 5 Alpha Charlie Club. And that was pretty much it for Belton. Very fun. I'm sad you couldn't make it out, but maybe even when you're in Plano, you can make the drive down to Belton. I think it'd be fun to have you there, and you can pick up some ham gear if you'd like. KG5, UBB back to net. Sorry if I forgot any part of your question. I hope I got everything.
Yeah, man, very cool. I think you covered everything there. That definitely sounds like it was a fun weekend, even though you guys didn't get set up to do HF at the park. That's definitely a little bit of a disappointment. But, hey, maybe next time I'll be able to make it down, coming down from Plano, and we can pick a different location and manage to get the club on HF. So it'll be definitely, something that I'll be looking forward to, and it'll be on the bucket list for things for me to do in the future. But I'm definitely glad to hear that y'all still were able to activate the park on DHF and UHF, given that you made the whole drive up there. So one more question for you. How many members from W5AC were able to join you all there?
Yeah, Matthew, so it was just Hudson and Krista. It was just them, and we got to meet their parents. I believe it was A&M Family Weekend or something, so their parents were down in Belton. That was pretty neat. So it was only 2 members, but it was still very fun. And as far as UT attendance, it was myself, Young, KI5TIA, and John, call sign TBD. He got his license, or he passed his tech ticket, and he should be getting a call sign soon, so waiting for that with bated breath. And, one other thing, John, actually, I was thinking about buying a Kenwood handheld, or looking for one to get John, and when I mentioned that John had just passed his license, the gentleman just gave it to him. So, yeah, John will be right on the air as soon as he gets his call sign. So, if any N5OAK members are familiar with programming Kenwood handhelds, we would really appreciate the help. We managed to do simplex to the menus, but it's quite complicated, and I'll try giving the manual a read over summer break. But if anyone is experienced with Kenwood HTs and would be willing to help out with programming this radio, we would greatly appreciate any help. KG5, UBB back to net.
Well, that's awesome. John, if you're out there listening, definitely congratulations on that license, and it'll be really great to hear you on the air once that call sign comes in. David, I'm curious, do you happen to know the model of that Kenwood radio?
Okay, so all I know is that I wanted one for a long time, and it's the tiny one. You can fit it in like the palm of your hand, and it's got a silver joystick-looking thing next to the speaker. As for the exact model number, I have to admit I'm quite clueless. I basically just know the general shape, size, and color of radios until I own it, and then I have the model number drilled into my brain. Yeah, so that's quite unfortunate. KG5, UBB, back to net.
Gotcha, man. Well, if you ever manage to see him and can get that model number, I'm just curious, because I know the Kenwood HTs, a lot of the ones that are still being manufactured are pretty expensive, so that's pretty cool, especially if you got a nice HT for free. All right.
Oh yeah, it's a very nice handheld, and I believe I did some Googling. I believe it is the Tango Hotel Foxtrot 6 Alpha, and those go on eBay for a couple $100. So it wasn't completely working. The guy basically just said if you can get it working, you can have it or you can use it, and it ended up being just that it needed a DC power supply because the battery was shot. We plugged it into the cigarette lighter of the car on the way home, and it just powered on. So that was really interesting, and yeah, now he has a free handheld. Back to you.
Very cool. Thank you for that information, and we'll be looking forward to hearing him on the air. Let's go ahead and open up the floor for any questions or comments for David, KG5, UBB. If you'd like to say hi, got a comment, or know someone who knows how to program a Kenwood radio, please call now.
BBS.
Rusty, go ahead.
Hey man, just wanted to tell you I'm looking forward to the Fox this weekend, and I hope you're not in QRZ. If you try anything tricksy, we will show up at your house, man. WZ5BBS.
No, the Fox will be hidden. Well, we're not exactly sure yet. Either somewhere on the UT campus, or me and Matthew will scheme something up at the Thursday meeting. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Well, I can speak for the Oak members who will more than likely have APRS on. So if you want some fun, go follow us on APRS, and you can see it's really more fun. Well, I don't know that it's more fun, but it's just as fun as finding the Fox as watching everybody hunt around for it.
Oh yeah. If it's on the UT campus, I'll be across the street with my laptop and an HT. Maybe not exactly across the street to not give any spoilers, but yeah, I'll just be making sure it's transmitting, doing homework, and keeping you all on your toes. So it'll be a fun time. I can guarantee that. I don't know if we'll do the UT campus fox hunt quite yet, just because we don't want to get arrested or piss off the police department. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We're going to discuss this at the meeting tomorrow, which, by the way, everyone is invited to come to the UT meetings, whether in person or on Zoom. KG5, UBB, back to net.
Well, Rusty, I can say if I'm allowed to have anything to do with it, I can guarantee for this weekend that easy and fun are going to be two mutually exclusive events. And if David lets me have a little bit of, influence over where we end up putting his Fox for the weekend, it's going to be tough, and it's going to be a lot of fun for y'all. So I'm definitely looking forward to this, and I am already enjoying brainstorming ideas. So, David, definitely looking forward to chatting with you more about this at the meeting on Thursday. And there, I'll drop the meeting on Thursday again. And go ahead and move on. Let's see. Do we have any other questions or comments for David? If so, please call now. Nothing heard. Well, I think it's about time for a station ID. You're listening to the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, heard every Wednesday starting at 8 p.m. right here on this repeater. My name is Matthew, call sign KN4LRA, and I am your net control for the evening. We're in the midst of our first round of comments, and we just talked to David, KG5UBB. Next on the list is Jason, KB5MPJ. Jason, great to have you on the net this evening, and great to hear you here again. How's your week going, man?
This is KB5MPJ. Pretty good, Matthew. Yeah, let's see. As far as radio stuff, I'm coming into the 441.325, I believe, the University Link repeater. I just put up a Yagi here in Buda, and so I'm trying coming in directly this time instead of through the Oak, so I kind of want to see how y'all are copying me. Let's see, Saturday I found a pretty good opening on 20 meters at night for DX. Made several contacts in Europe, Serbia, 100-watt contact to Serbia. Some of them I ran power, but I definitely did 100 watts to Serbia, Slovakia, Italy, and I think Chile. Tango India, I think, is a Chile. I'm just looking at the log here. Venezuela, I believe, and Italy. So, yeah, really good DX on at night on 20. And let's see, last night I got on Southside Simplex, and it ended up being just me and Ray, K5BZI, but a lot of times there's quite a few people on there, so if y'all ever want to try rag chewing on Simplex with local hams, try 146.555 Simplex on Tuesday night starting at around 8 o'clock. You know, it's informal, so 8 o'clock could be anywhere, up to 10 o'clock or even later. And if you don't live on the south side, try anyway. Maybe try Yagi. You never know who you might reach. And let's see, Matthew, I think I heard you say you were moving to Plano. I actually grew up there, but I haven't lived there since 2004. But I'm back up there fairly often to visit my parents. And there happens to be a ham radio store up there, Ham Radio Outlet, if you're not familiar with it. So you'll actually have a ham store in town. Back to that, KB5MPJ.
Well, thanks again for checking in, Jason. Start off with the signal report. You are perfectly readable into the KA5D machine up here. There is just a little bit of hiss behind your signal, but nothing that's going to get in the way from understanding you, so I think you're coming in just fine now. Very interesting to hear that you grew up in Plano. Yes, I will be moving up there in August for my full-time job, and was there last summer as well for my internship, so I am aware of the HRO, although I did kind of avoid it last summer because, I wanted to keep some of the money that I made in my internship. So I don't know whether to be excited about it or whether to be concerned about it. It's either going to give me lots of ham radio fun or it's going to quickly drain my bank account. We'll see which one of those happens. Maybe both of them. But again, thank you so much, Jason, for checking into the net tonight. Let's go ahead and open the floor for any questions or comments for Jason. Please call now.
This is David, Kilo Golf 5, Uniform Bravo Bravo. Yeah, I was just wondering, you said you were working DX with some power. How much power are we talking? And if you don't mind sharing, what's your antenna setup? I know here at the UT Shack, now I'm very into microwaves, so for a long time I was into the idea of building a power amplifier and just don't really have the time. So I'm just kind of curious what your DX setup is, because for the longest time I was wanting to get into that, and still kind of considering it. Worked Russia with 100 watts barefoot the other month when the shack was still operational, and that was really fun. So, yeah, KG5, UBB, back to you.
This is KB5MPJ. Yeah, my antenna is an end-fed random wire. It's 134 feet long, and it's connected to a 49-to-1 unend transformer. You don't necessarily, especially if you want to get on 20 meters, you don't have to have a super long antenna. Like, you could make a 20-meter end-fed half wave or even a 40 if you got room for like a, I think 67, 69-foot antenna. 20 would be even shorter. And then, let it drop here. The amplifier is an old Yaesu FL2100B. It's a 1200 watt PEP amplifier, and the NFED is handling it. Ideally, I would have a better antenna, but this antenna is really discreet, and I can leave it up and nobody complains about it. So it's a good compromise. But I make 100 watt contacts on this antenna quite a bit too. If it's a little rough or they're not quite hearing me, I might turn the amp on, but I usually try to do it without power if I can. So that's what I've got, KV5MPJ.
Sounds like an awesome setup. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of wire antennas. My first antenna build, first antenna was fan dipole. Didn't really work out because the attic had metal clad insulation, like the aluminum cladded foam stuff. And I ended up building a 80-meter NFET half wave as well, strung it up in the trees in my parents' backyard. And with 100 watts, I managed to work pretty much all the U.S. and into Canada for field day. So definitely NFET half wave is a slept-on antenna. Running an older amplifier is really interesting. We have a Heathkit SB220 here in the UT Shack, but it needs some repairs, some good TLC. It sounds like you're running an awesome station, and thanks for all the insight. KG5, UBB, back to net.
Very interesting, Jason. And, I will say I am also very interested in seeing the UT Shack back on the air. And, man, if we can ever get that Heathkit amp up and running again, that would be so cool. Although I don't know what the odds are of that given how old it is. I remember Samir did some research into what it was going to take to get it running again, and it looked like it might be rather difficult because of the availability of parts. So maybe we should reach out to him at some point and find out what's going to be necessary to get that guy back on the air, and we can go from there. Well, thank you for the comment. Let's go ahead and see if there's any other comments for Jason before we move on. Please call now. Nothing heard? Well, let's move right on down the list to Ernesto. That's KI5PZN. Ben, I heard you say that you were coming in on the 220 machine tonight. Your signal sounds great. I'm curious what kind of 220 radio you're running on your end to be able to get in.
This is KI5PZN. Hello, Matthew. Thank you for running the net, and hello to everybody on the net participating and listening. I am using a very old mobile radio. It's a Jetstream, and it's a 220. It's Jetstream is the brand, and it's a JT220M as in Mike. And I bought this radio, I don't know, close to 2 years ago on an estate sale, and I didn't even know what 220 was when I bought it. So, but yeah, it's the repeater is next to the 325 in the same building, and the 775. I'm just making sure that it gets warm up. Back to net.
Very good. Well, I have jumped on the 220 machine once or twice after I got my Yaesu VX6 here. I think I might have actually run one of the nets from it. I do not recall, but I've definitely checked into the net before on the 220 machine as well, and glad to hear that it's getting some use. Let's go ahead and open up the floor for any questions or comments for Ernesto. Please call now. Nothing heard. Well, Ernesto, thank you so much for checking in. It's always a pleasure to have you on the net with us this evening, and we look forward to hearing you on the net again next week. Let's move right on down the list to the next fine gentleman here. That's Rusty, WZ5BBS. Rusty, welcome back to the net. Great to have you here. How's your week going?
man, no complaints here. I got to go to Belton last weekend and had a great time. Always fun seeing everybody and all the random stuff. So always, it's always a good trip. It's early as crud, but it's fun time. So did that. Got to go celebrate Rod W5NDS on Sunday. He passed away, and his family did a wonderful celebration jamboree. So that was cool. Got to go hang out with some Oak people and the Austin Club fellas. So that was good. It was fun to see everybody, even though the circumstances were kind of blah. I would be interested in this UT Club meeting thing on Zoom. I may or may not be able to make it, but whether or not y'all want to put it on a channel in the Oak is up to y'all. But I think you might have some people join in if that's interesting to y'all. We have the Oak Club has our meeting this Saturday, April 22nd, and I'm proud to say that our very first testing class is completely full. So we're going to get to do that and see how that rocks. And Matthew, for you, when is your last net? Hopefully this is not your last net. Hopefully, how much longer we got you around, man?
Man, this is not my last net. Don't worry. I've got, this is my last week of classes. I actually finished up my data visualization class yesterday, turned in the final assignment, so that was a really good feeling. And have my last lecture tomorrow afternoon. So things are really coming to a close here, but we've still got finals next week and then one more week before graduation. So there's definitely the chance that I'll be able to jump in for 2 more nets before the official day of graduation next week and the week after that. And I'm sure I'll still be hanging around, saying hi to everyone over the summer, given I'll have the All-Star node set up and online while I'm enjoying my time in Florida before I start work. But yeah, man, no, the end of my time here is really coming up quick. I know everyone always said that once spring break hits, that the last 6 or 7 weeks were absolutely going to fly by. And man, no, they couldn't be more right. It has absolutely flown by. The days seem to go slow, but the weeks do fly by. I've been super, super busy the last couple of weeks. This past weekend, we went down in New Orleans. That's why I didn't make it out to Belton Ham Fest. That was with the UT sailing team for our regional team race championship. So a lot of fun there. Super cool. Definitely keeps me on my feet. But things are starting to wind down, coming to the end of classes here. And this weekend, looking forward to the fox hunt and watching y'all all chase around whatever crazy thing that we come up with tomorrow evening. And then really just hanging out for the next 2 weeks before graduation and heading home.
Right on, man. Well, you're going to have to get Ethan to come and promise he'll do net control a little. And we also, for those of you, we were going to do the star party tonight. We were going to go up on top of the PMA building and look through the telescope, but they canceled all that because of the clouds. So we'll do that some other time. And then for all you UT kiddos, we got free donuts on Saturday for the meeting. So if you're interested, make it be known if we need to come grab you, or if anything. 10 a.m. on Saturday, come hang out with us. And then I don't know if Ernesto and I are gonna go fox hunting right after that, or if we're gonna do it on Sunday. But we're gonna go find that thing. Don't you worry. WZ5VBS.
Roger that. Well, at the moment, I don't have anything planned for the weekend other than hiding that fox potentially. And if not, I'll definitely see whether I can make it out to the meeting. The allure of free donuts is definitely quite strong. So I'll thank you for putting that out there, because it might mean that I actually make an appearance. All right. Let's go ahead and open up the floor for any questions or comments for Rusty. Please call now.
This is David, Kilo Golf 5, Uniform Bravo Bravo. I'm pretty sure you're tired of hearing me at this point, but Matthew, what do you think about heading to the meeting on Saturday to taunt the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club?
Well, I guess it depends on what exactly you mean by taunt, but if we can go with like a 5 foot by 3 foot size large poster with the fox hunt map and maybe some clues as to where it might be hidden, I think that might be just enough taunting that would be appropriate. So I'll shoot you a message on Discord and we can figure it out. How's that sound?
Sounds great. Yeah, hopefully I'll make it to the meeting. Look forward to seeing Rusty and everyone there. And yeah, thank you, KG5, UBB back to net.
Con away, David. We're going to find it.
You won't.
Well, Rusty, just to give you a little bit of a taste of excitement, I've been writing some software for this thing for the last 3 hours. So do with that information as you will, and we'll wish you the best of luck. Let's go ahead and open it one more time for any questions or comments for Rusty. Please call now. Nothing heard. Well, Rusty, thank you so much for checking in, and we look forward to seeing you on Saturday morning. All right, I think it's about time for another station ID. You are listening to the UT Amateur Radio Club Weekly Net, a service of the University of Texas Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5XU. We're right here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. for the net. My name is Matthew, call sign KN4LRA, and I am your net control this evening. We're in the middle of our first round of comments. We just heard from WZ5BBS, that's Rusty. Now we're going to move right on down the list to Justin, AI5OS. Justin, great to hear you back on the net. It's been a while, man. How are you doing? Nothing heard. AI5OS from KN4LRA. Justin, are you still out there? Nothing heard. Well, we've reached the end of my check-in list, and that means it's time for us to open it up for more check-ins. Round 2 of general check-in starts right now. If you'd like to check into the net, please call now with your call sign and your first name.
This is AI5JT. This is Rick.
All right, we've got AI5JT Rick. Welcome back to the net. Great to hear you. Any other general check-ins, please call now.
This is November 5, Uniform, Karsten, and I'm going to be short time. Just wanted to check in real quick.
All right, we've got November 5, November Whiskey Uniform. Correct me if I missed that third character there. That's Carson, and you are short time. Thank you so much for checking in.
It's going to be November 5, Uniform, Whiskey Uniform. A big old ooh-woo.
QSL on that change, that's November 5, ooh-woo. Carson, welcome to the net, and great to have you here. Any other general check-ins, please call now.
This is KF5CIA Young.
All right, we've got KI5TIA Young, that's the president of our club. Let's keep them coming, y'all. Any other general check-ins, please call now.
Kilo India 5, Zulu Tango Whiskey, Blake and Spicewood.
Net recognizes KI5 VTW Blake. Thank you for joining us this evening. Any others, come now. Nothing heard. Well, let's jump right into the new list here with Rick, AI5JT. Rick, welcome to the net, and I'd love to hear how you're doing, man. Did you go up to Belton this past weekend?
AI5JT. Yeah, we did. We drove up there Friday night and got a hotel, and we're up there at the Hamfest bright and early, 7 a.m. I also went to one of the ham breakfasts, since that's a thing. That was at 6 a.m. And ran into a few folks up there that we recognized each other. Back to net.
Very cool, Rick. Well, I will say again, I am disappointed that I did not make it up there to Belton this past weekend, but hey, the weekend in New Orleans was worth it. So definitely a little bit jealous of you there, and hope that you had a really fun experience up there. Let's go ahead and open the floor for any questions or comments for Rick. Please call now.
KFI-TIA.
Young, go.
Hi, Rick. I hope I have the right Rick here, but did you manage to buy that GE equipment you were looking at? And if so, how is it looking? Like, is it functional, or do you have to do some work on it? KFI-TIA.
Hi, Young. You'll have to remind me. We've got several projects going on. I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
Over at the Hamfest, you mentioned, I remember you were looking at a trailer that had it seemed like some GE equipment, I seem to remember, and you were considering buying it, I think. So just wondering how that turned out, or if you got anything else from the Hamfest.
Okay, well, so that particular deal, yeah, there was some retired equipment that used to belong to a public safety entity in LaGrange, which, for folks not familiar, Texas, it's a little bit east of Austin. Some of it was for sale, some of it he was giving away, and I looked closely at it, and I decided to pass. I don't want to sound like I'm, looking to get horse in the mouth, but I got enough going on, so I decided to decline on that. But he definitely found other takers, because at the end of the end of the convention, folks were showing up with dollies and carting off the different pieces, but there were about 6 to 8 GE Master 2 repeaters there, plus some other assorted stuff. And this is kind of big, heavy gear, and they were all either low or high VHF, so either in the 40, 50 megahertz range or in the 150 plus megahertz range. Pause for reset. I don't want to ramble on too long, but so the funny thing is my daughter went with me, and I hit the ATM beforehand because I knew I was going to spend a little bit of money, and I did about $80. But the joke is that my daughter spent $85 in the Hamfest, and yeah, so she got that was some amusement between the two of us that it turned out that way. Back to that.
Well, Rick, definitely interesting to hear about what you've got going on there with those GE repeaters. And I remember it was sort of interesting when we met you the first time, hearing about the projects that you were working on. So my guess was going to be that you had jumped on the opportunity to get some, but I guess I definitely understand what you were saying there about just having a lot of things going on and not wanting to add one more thing onto your plate. Let's go ahead and open the floor for any other questions or comments for Rick. Please call now. Nothing heard. Well, Rick, thank you so much for checking in to the net this evening. Always great to hear from you. And we look forward to hearing you on the net again in the future. And man, don't worry about rambling on too long. We all are here to listen and love to hear about what everyone's got going on. So hope forward to hearing you in the future. All right, let's move right down on the list to Young. That's KI5TIA. Young, welcome back to the net. Great to have you here. Man, I'm going to ask you a very similar question to the one that I asked David at the beginning of the net when he checked in. Man, I am sort of in this spot here where I'm scrambling to get everything finished up for the end of the semester here. How are you doing in terms of schoolwork? Have you had any time to get to play radio outside of Belton? And I would love to hear about your Belton experience as well. Young, over to you.
Thanks again for running the net, Matthew, and hi to everyone else who is listening. As for schoolwork, I've been slacking off on my assignments, so it isn't too bad, although I will have to catch up on one of my classes quite a bit for the final. But other than that, in terms of radio, haven't really done much outside of Belton, but Belton was quite fun, and as happened with last year's trip, I did not buy any radio equipment. I'm going to take a pause here. I got a nice HP 0 to 40 volts, 0 to 10 amp bench power supply, like rack mounted, for about $35, so I was quite pleased with that. Also got a comically large capacitor with 30 kilovolts, 2 microfarads, so it stores about a kilojoule of energy. So if y'all ever stop hearing me on the net, I will probably have died and gotten shot by the capacitor and died. But other than that, the parks on the air we had at Mother Ness State Park with the W5AC people, the Aggies. That was quite fun. I didn't probably mention this already, but we had some issues getting the HF rig set up. So we just went around making some very short distance UHF contacts. But contacts in a state park count as contacts in a state park. So but other than that, looking forward to the Fox Sense, and I think the meeting tomorrow has already been mentioned numerous times. So back to net control.
Well, Young, it's funny that you bring up the Aggies again. I know we've been talking about them all night, but I realized we haven't had any check-in yet. So I went online and pulled up the All-Star node map, and for some reason they are not connected tonight. So I don't know whether they've got something else going on or if they've just decided to abandon us. Either way, I'll shoot them a message on Discord and see where they are tonight, because it's always a good time having them joining in on the net. I do think David covered pretty much the little story about not being able to walk on the grass earlier. Definitely was a little bit of a surprise to me, and not something that I would have expected, but still great that you all were able to activate the park on 440 and on 2 meters, given that you made the whole drive up there. Well, Young, I want to wish you the best of luck on everything, getting stuff wrapped up towards the end of the semester and getting caught up there where you're a little bit behind. I can definitely relate. Oh, look at that. I timed out the repeater. Well, but other than that, man, just great to have you on the net this evening, and look forward to hearing you on the net again in the near future. All right, let's go ahead and open up the floor for any questions or comments for Young. Please call now.
I suppose I have a comment for myself.
KI5JT comment.
Young, go first, and then we'll come back around to you, Rick.
I forgot to mention that it was great seeing Rick and Rusty and Ernesto at the Hemfest, and also good luck to you, Matthew, on your finals and all the stuff you have to do. Are you finished with your senior design project? Because it must be quite time-consuming. KFI.
No, man, senior design is going to be the absolute last thing that is going to come for me. So that one wraps up at the end of next week. Everything else is going to be done by, I believe, Monday of this upcoming week. So senior design's a little bit later. We are pretty much there in terms of the development of our software products, so I'm not worried about it at all. Now it's just sitting down and writing that final report, which I am not looking forward to, but I can't say that it's going to be hard.
All right, well, best of luck with that. Glad to hear that it won't be too difficult, maybe a bit time-consuming, though. KFI, PAA.
Thanks so much, man. Well, we also have a comment from Rick, AI5JT. Rick, go ahead.
AI5JT. Yes, I guess more of a question for Young and everyone in the UT club. What's the plan for the summer? Are there going to be enough persons on board to continue the net through the summer? I'll give this over to Young to respond.
Hey, Young. So I think the current plan is David, KG5 UBD, he will be in the summer for the most part, I think. And he will be able to run the net in Austin. I think, Matthew, you had the All-Star node in Florida, so you'll be able to do it for a bit, I think. And I'm sure if there are any odd weeks where no one can do it, there's always I could always use EchoLink, or if one of the OCO people wanted to run the net, that'd be very good too. So all in all, I think we're covered. If that answers your question. KFI, PAA.
Yeah, 5JT. That was my question back to them.
Very good. Well, in summary, yes, we are planning to continue the net over the summer. Young, just for your information, I am going to be able to run the net occasionally over the summer, pending any conflict. There is a couple of weeks that I'm going to be out of the country, but other than that, I'm happy to jump in as an alumni, which feels weird to say, but happy to help out. CAN4 LRA. All right, let's go ahead and move right on down the list to Blake, KI5ZTW. Blake, great to have you back on the net. How's your week going?
Man, it's going great. Thanks for hosting the net. Sounds great tonight. I'm out here in Spicewood, and exciting day for me. I got my general, so I'm KI5ZTW's Slan A Alpha Golf at the moment, and the stressful morning, and I passed, and I'm excited about it. And I've been playing around on other bands on HF all day because of it.
Very awesome, man. Well, congratulations on the general. It really does open up a whole new world of amateur radio for you to play in. So very, very exciting stuff there. And once again, congratulations. Man, I'm curious, what kind of radio are you running there now?
I'm using an ICOM 7300 with a Chameleon Impasse 2.0 vertical, but I have all the stuff in for my dipole, and everything but the feed line, so hopefully if all goes correct, it'll show up here Friday, hopefully Saturday the latest, and I'm going to go ahead and get my dipole set up over the weekend as the plan, weather permits.
Very exciting, man. Well, hey, in the future, we are looking forward to hearing about all of your fun experiences on HF because, man, is it a whole different world, and are you going to have a great time. So congratulations once again. Let's go ahead and open up the floor for any questions or comments for Blake. Please call now.
5PZN.
Ernesto, go ahead.
Hey Blake, just want to congratulate you on getting your general. That's a big deal. That's a pretty hard test to pass. And yeah, man, you're gonna have a lot of fun, like everybody's saying, like Matthew's saying, and you were saying too. So just that, man. Congratulations. I'm glad that you passed that test, and we'll hear you on HF. KFI-PZN. Back to net.
Thank you, Ernesto, and I look forward to meeting everybody this Saturday at the Oak Hill quarterly meeting.
Awesome, man. Looking forward to meeting you as well. We'll be there for sure. KFI-PZN. Back to net.
Blake, thank you so much for checking in this evening, and we'll look forward to meeting you this weekend at the meeting. So we'll see you there. Any other questions or comments for Blake, please call now. Nothing heard. Well, once again, we've reached the bottom of my list of check-ins. So let's open up the floor for any additional general check-ins. If you'd like to check in to the UT Amateur Radio Club Wednesday night net, please call now with your call sign and first name, ladies and gentlemen. General check-ins start now.
This is Kilo Juliet 5 Alpha Uniform Golf.
All right, I heard a KJ5AUG, but didn't catch a name there. I just wanted to let you know your audio is very, very low, very hard to hear you there. I don't know if there's anything that you can do to improve your audio. Maybe move the microphone just a little closer to your mouth, and that might help us hear you a little better.
This is KJ5AUG. John, this is better?
Yes, sir. Welcome, John, to the net. You are a little bit louder now, still just on the quiet side, but we can hear you now. And welcome to the net, man. Any other general check-ins, please call now.
K5RFT, Mike.
All right, we've got K5RFT Mike. Welcome to the net. Great to have you here. Any other general check-ins, please call now. Keep them coming, y'all.
This
November 8, India Juliet. My name is Ignacio. I am a visitor, and I just have a very quick question about the UT Amateur Radio Club.
All right, we've got N8IJ with a question. Go right ahead, man.
Thank you, sir. I am visiting in Austin. I'm calling from South Austin, and I am also an experimenter, and I am designing my own data modules for some single carrier FDMA, some protocols. And I'm wondering whether UT Amateur Radio Club has any experimenters. I would love to talk to them. I'm using Arduino as a protocol manager and the analog devices IC for
Ladies and gentlemen, stand by. We are experiencing some issues with the connection to the net. Nothing heard. Well, let's go ahead and start with our next portion of comments here. First off, that's KJ5AUG. John, welcome to the net, and congratulations on the new license here. Man, I had to go ahead and type in your license into the ULS and check the call sign to make sure it was you, but indeed it was, so congratulations, man, and great to have you here. Is there anything that you'd like to share with us tonight? Nothing heard. KJ5AUG from KN4LRA. John, are you still out there?
FIPZN, I'm coming real quick.
Ernesto, go ahead.
The 325 just went silent, so I think you got disconnected.
Oh man, well I guess for some reason I thought the cutoff was at 9:15, but maybe it was 9:05. Are you able to get us linked back up?
If Russ is still around, he might be able to do that.
AI5JT question for Ernesto.
Alright, y'all, this is KN4LRA. Given that the repeaters have been unlinked, I'm going to jump over to the 325, that's the KA5B machine, and we are going to finish out the net there. So if you are able to get in there, please jump over there and we'll finish up the net. This is KN4LRA, clear, and moving to the 325.
You're back linked, Matthew. Everybody's good to go. WZ5BBS.
Roger that. All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump right back into things here with conversation with John, KJ5AUG. I know we tried to call you earlier, but I think that we got unfortunately separated by the technical difficulties on the back end. So I am hoping you are here on the 325 and ready to chat with us. Congratulations on the new license, man.
Thanks so much. Hopefully y'all can hear me better, or maybe the same. Yeah. Also, I wanted to confirm I could hear y'all from the very beginning. And also confirm that the model is Kenwood TH-F6A, the one that David mentioned earlier. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I'm just studying for finals right now. Back to the net.
Well, congratulations once again on your new license there. Super exciting, man. I'm sure that everyone out here who's listening remembers their first contact and their first net on the radio. So this is super exciting, and we're really glad you're here. And let me ask you, are you on your new license? Sorry, not your new license. Your new radio there, the Kenwood that we were talking about earlier. Nothing heard. John, are you still out there? Nothing heard. Well, it sounds like we may be experiencing some technical difficulties with John here. I see him on the Discord, and we're going to try to get that figured out. But in the meantime, let's move right on down the list to Mike. That's K5RFT, and we will circle back to John here in just a minute. Mike, welcome to the net. Great to have you here. How you doing, man?
Oh, doing great. K5RFT here. Just before the net, had a fun Q
so with a special event station on 20 meters with Whiskey 1 Whiskey for World Amateur Radio Day. So that was kind of cool.
Very cool. Well, all this talk about HF makes me really disappointed that the N5XU station is still off the air. But hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I know there will probably be some chat about that at our meeting on Thursday. We are hopeful and fingers crossed to get our station back on the air very soon. Let's go ahead and open up the floor for any questions or comments for Mike. Please call now.
KB5MPJ.
Jason, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to comment that I reached Whiskey 1 Whiskey on Saturday night, so that was cool. That was one of my HF contacts while the band was open.
Well, Jason, very cool to hear about that contact as well. Y'all really do be giving us the itch about getting back on HF here. I'm definitely excited to do so over the summer when I'm back home, and looking forward to sharing all of the fun stories about that with y'all as well. All right, any other questions or comments for Mike, please call now.
This is KB5MPJ. I may have a correction here. I've actually got it in my log as 40 meters. So I might have actually, I thought it was 20, but I put 40 in my log.
Yeah, they were on 14.325 tonight.
Yeah, I'll have to look for them, because, yeah, I think it might have actually been a 40-meter contact on Saturday.
Roger that, a 40-meter contact was still very cool, and thank you for jumping in and sharing that. All right, well, I think it's about time for another station ID. You are listening to the UT Amateur Radio Club Wednesday Night Net, heard every Wednesday right here at 8 p.m. on the KA5D and the M5OAK repeater system. My name is Matthew, call sign KN4LRA, and I am your net control operator for this evening. We've reached the end of the list of check-ins here, so let's open up the floor one more time for any additional general check-ins. If you'd like to check into the net, please call now with your call sign and your first name.
This is Kilo 5 Bravo Mike Romeo. This is Brandon and I'm mobile.
All right, we've got K5DMR, that's Brandon Mobile. Brandon, thank you so much for checking in this evening. Any other general check-ins, please call now. Nothing heard? Well, Brandon, great to have you on the net this evening. Is there anything you'd like to share with us?
Sure, yeah, sorry for the Google Maps in the background there. I actually did have a question. I was wondering if anyone ever makes contacts locally in Austin on the 2-meter FM calling frequency 146.520. I've tried it periodically. I've never been able to raise anybody. I guess I'm not too surprised by that. So I'm just sort of curious if anyone's had any luck on using that or how that kind of works.